Hey everybody, this is Herschel from High School Top 200. This preview is on Marlborough Boys College and Rangiora, and that's in the UC Championship. This is actually quite a big game. Like I think most years Rangiora is not really that relevant, but with a big group of players that have returned, and whatever they're doing down there is great because it's working out for their rugby. And so Rangiora have actually had quite a lot of success, and I really don't see it slowing down, especially not for this year. I think it's going to be really good, and I think with guys like Caleb Beck, who's their first five, I think with him there in charge, I think that it is going to I think with a team built around him, I think it will only just get better. So this game is actually is one of the ones that I'm pretty interested in seeing what the outcome is. And if anyone has any footage, please send me some footage because I really want to watch this game. So for Marlborough's side, obviously I think Jaden Holdaway is a big deal, the number 8. Year 12, big ass dude, real beast of a dude. After coming back from injury, I think that he is playing a lot better, along with Josh Godsif and also Mitchell Boyce. I think that's going to be the loose trio for them, because they have a big forward pack. I mean, like, they got Paul Cooper and Peter Vakaloa as their props, who are big deals. I mean, the big bulky props that have really good skills hitting up the ball and hitting up the line, but not just that, but also making ground, and then not stopping at contact. They kind of drive through it. And so, like, with things like that, when you start bending the line and it becomes a consistent basis, which like these guys do, having Peter run first, then Porphyry run after, then having Jaden and guys like that all run through, and then having the boys all support. And once you just keep bending that line, it's going to break eventually. And so, like, I think that this forward pack as a whole has to really start, I think, setting up their pods right, making sure for me personally, I would set it up on one half of the field, and so you only play one half and just keep everyone trapped within that one half, keep it tight and just keep it going back and forth, but making sure that you always have your pod set and ready to go, playing it on the advantage line, obviously with as little forward passes or drop balls as possible, but making sure that once you play that one side of the field, and then you've attracted so much attention to just that one side, then you can start spreading the ball if you want. Because Marlborough's in a really good position where they got a really good halfback in Jack Shedbolt, even Ethan Bailey at first 5, and then they got Nigel Sadler at second 5. I think that when you start paying attention to one side, it will give Nigel, or Ethan and Nigel, sort of that freedom to start looking at gaps and start creating little pods and little moves and things like that. Nothing too fancy, but they're making sure that once their point of attack is located, once they know what it actually is, they'll be able to target it and then start breaking the line like that. I'd have Nigel, I think I would set up 3 or 4 phases of forward play, and then have just Nigel's come and crash it in, even in on an angle, even back towards the forwards, and then sort of, because I think that every time he touches the ball, he's always a real threat of breaking the line. And so for me, I would start setting up one side of the field, then have him come back on the angle, and then having the forwards come over straight away, then reset your 4 phases again on that same side, and just like battle that whole one side of the field, and just have it that way, and just keep everything real centered on one side of the field, and just keep hammering down that end until you start finding out your breaks and what backs are getting lazy, and then start attacking them that way. Bring Josh Reeson from fullback. I think he would be a real important part of this as well. And so, like, I think with Jack Shadbolt being able to, because I think he's a really good halfback in terms of being able to dart into little gaps when he needs to. He finds sort of little gaps around the edges of the rucks and things like that, and then he's also able to find the right runners, like even if he has to skip a man and things like that. And so, like, I think that he's kind of the right guy to do something like that. And Ethan also is pretty patient in terms of making sure that he knows what he wants to do, how he wants Nigel to sort of take these crash balls and things like that, and then, you know, things like that start rolling from there, and then they start getting points on the board, things like that, and getting a roll on. And so, like, obviously I think Nigel is probably their main player, close by with Jack and probably Jaden. Yeah, so, like, I would kind of count on those kind of guys. For Rangiora, I'd probably play just a real tough physical up the middle of the field forward play. I mean, you got Josh Duckworth and Fletcher Newell, Angus Fletcher as well, like guys that can play that rugged style of rugby. So, like, I would centre it on that. I would make sure I'd go up the middle of the field. Don't venture off too far either side. Just keep bringing it back centre, and then making sure you have the sides of the field to sort of split the defence of the backs, and then just play little moves either side of the field when you feel the defence is getting sort of thin on each side, and then that's just a judgment for them. And Caleb, I think Caleb Beck can actually pick and choose which side he really wants to attack on and things like that. And I mean, like, if you're centering up on the field and you have both sides to attack on, he can actually pick out either if he wants to go down the line and kick down the line and sort of chase and all that kind of stuff. Caleb can be one of those guys. If he wants to split Jesse Boring and also Josh Motu on either side, or either on the both sides, and then having the wingers and fullback, like things like that, I think Caleb can do that kind of stuff. Michael Colvert, who's the number 8, is probably another guy that you'd probably really want to watch out for, because if he gets into the back line and starts putting moves together with the back line, things like that, because he's a pretty good runner and he also does a lot of hard work, he could be a factor as well. Angus Fletcher, and Angus is probably their main player that I would probably turn to a lot, and just leave it in the grunt of the forwards with him and Fletcher. And so Angus and Fletcher will probably be the two guys that I'd go to, making sure that you just keep it safe, keep it centered, obviously minimal mistakes, but making sure that you know exactly where you are in the middle of the field, going up the middle of the field, either switching left and right, but not so far off that you get into the other side of the field, so you can leave it open for attack. And that's just the way that I would play it, because I know that they have those kind of players that they can do that stuff, and then they have guys like Jesse and Josh who can make breaks and make guys miss tackles and things like that. Caleb's also a pretty smart kid, and so I mean, I remember seeing him up here at St. Paul's when he played for the area schools, I think it was, and he was pretty sharp then too. So that's kind of how I envision the way that he would play if it was in this kind of situation. So for me, I personally think that this is actually I think Rangiora is going to win this game, and it's going to be close, and it's going to be something like 23-20 or 23-21, something like that to Rangiora. Okay, so I've got Rangiora winning this over Marlborough boys, and it's going to be, okay, I'll pick it 23-21 to Rangiora. That's my predictions. Peace.